Yeah, I guess I was wondering, maybe, do you know about Water Street, Tampa?
Water Street, Tampa. I don't know about it. Tell me about it.
It's kind of the same thing, except revitalizing downtown in Tampa. It's pretty exciting stuff. A bunch of they're trying to make it like really walkable and get more millennials interested in it.
Well, that's interesting. Tampa is a winner. Florida's a winner. Tampa's a winner. And if you find a place within Tampa, I'm looking at the map right now. So Water Street looks like, is it a beat up part of town right now?
No. It's right in downtown. They're trying to make it like their version of Broadway. That's how they put it.
Okay. And right now, what's there?
Well, it's still in their downtown, but the downtown's been kind of dead for a little bit. It's just really been in the last 4 years that they brought it up. They have water, or they have a river walk right next to the river. It's all lit up.
Is that next to that stadium, the arena, or next to the arena?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on the map right now. It's interesting. They have a walk there. Are they going to build on the park that I'm looking at right here?
Hold on, let me see. There's a delay. Yeah, no, they're going to keep the park there.
Okay. And so they're going to do some development up and around this area here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I've heard you talk about how Tampa is really growing because they extended the port. You remember saying that?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think, is there any threat, because I don't know anything about this stuff, but if that's really how Tampa grew, is there any threat of Miami expanding their ports also? And then I don't see if that ever happened, why would people want to go under the peninsula into the Gulf?
Yeah, so what he's talking about is the Panama Canal expansion. So again, there's a mega trend where the Panama Canal has been around for 100 years, and the ships that could get through the Panama Canal were not as big as the ships that have been built since. Okay, so they call them post-Panamax. So the Panama Canal has a maximum size ship, which is about a third of the size of the ships that are being used now. And so when things came from China, they would land in Long Beach, California, and they would get put on trains and trucks to make their way to the East Coast. So they expanded the Panama Canal. That opened up a couple of years ago. And so while that was happening, all of the ports in the Gulf of Mexico and up half of the East Coast began to get into a competitive battle to see who could be the big recipient of all or more of that trade traffic that was going to no longer go to California. It was a lot cheaper to keep it on the boat, bring it through the canal. So the Panama Canal expands. The big post-Panamax ships can now come through. And Jacksonville did a phenomenal job of being ready for that. Tampa was also working it. I haven't checked in on Tampa in a while on that subject. But like what Jacksonville did was they got like approvals for hundreds of millions of dollars to dig because the chips are also deep, right? So they had to expand their port capacity. They did a great job. I think they're going to wind up doing the best job capturing on that opportunity. But Tampa coming up through the Gulf is also right there. And if I were you, I would do some research on that. I know you're not going to lose port jobs because of the Panama Canal expansion. It's only going to create more port jobs in every one of these ports because there's so many companies shipping from overseas, naturally from the Far East, coming all the way across that they're not all going to go to one place. Miami's going to get their share. New Orleans is going to get their share. Norfolk, Virginia is going to get their share. But I think I know Jacksonville and I think maybe Tampa was looking pretty good. Charleston's going to get a boost out of this also. So there's a lot to like about Tampa. So if you found a place in Tampa that's popping that you can get in on nearby, then you're drilling in.
Oh my gosh. No, I love Tampa. There's a plot of land. A plot of land is like probably 10 blocks from a ferry that'll take you to the beach. And there's nothing on it, but it's only $20,000.
Really?
And I'm like, I should just get that and hold on to it.
Well, that's, you know what, if you can get a piece of property that generates income, keep in mind that I like the thought, all right? I like the idea. But the reason why this stuff is such a great investment is you get an income and you get appreciation. And if you buy raw land, you're going to have very low taxes probably because there's no improvements on it. But if you can buy a single family home, walkable to any of that stuff, walkable to that ferry, now you're talking. So, again, you identify a piece of dirt, a place that's going to get extra lift because of all these circumstances, and then buy the nicest house you can afford in that place, then you're going to win. All right?
Yeah.
All right. All right, man. Hey, thanks for staying in touch. Right, you got my email, grand@renterswarehouse.com. Tell me how it's going.